Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the ThePCelitist. My name is Elitists. My name is Woodsie.
My name is Shepherd.
And we're introducing a new series that we hope to keep going.
Haven't done series in a while.
No.
But they are wonderful.
They're fun. And why don't you introduce how we're going to do this?
Sure. I don't know if we did a discussion on it, but PC Gamer came out with their Best of 2012. And they handed out a bunch of awards to some really just bad choices. But it got me thinking of this Best of, and Woodsie and I have played around in the past with whether or not we want to do a Best of series. Best RPG, best this, best that. But I think, frankly, that's overdone. Mm-hmm. And I think that given... I don't play a huge, diverse slew of games, so my pool of selections would not be very wide. So I wouldn't want to pick from only 3 RPGs, because I know many of you, we do get a lot of suggestions from you. You mentioned games I've never heard of, and I think that's great because it exposes us to more and more things. But I wanted to do a series and a best of, and maybe even worst of elements of a game. So, for example, at the Oscars, best screenplay, best directing, best score, things like that. I wanted to do it in that type of format.
Right.
And there are obviously several different categories, and we'll go through them. And these won't all be really long videos, but just kind of name the thing. And these are contextual also. This is not for example, best score. Not the best score you've ever heard in any game ever. It's contextual. The moment you heard it, what sticks with you as, I remember that as the score that just really struck a chord with me and made me really get into the game. And the one I want to start with is best visuals. Which covers a broad array, but I want to start with best visuals because these are video games after all. It's a visual medium, and typically the most important, most expensive part of a game goes into the visuals. So that's where I want to begin today. So I'm actually going to turn it over to you first. Best visuals that stick out in your mind.
So we're going back.
Text-based games do not count because the visuals of text on the screen.
But your imagination is the greatest.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So what we're doing, just to clarify, is through our own... There's no time limit.
Our personal choices.
Our personal choices.
Yeah, no time limit. If you think the visuals on Thief were the best you've ever seen, if you think the visuals on Castle Wolfenstein 3D were the best you've ever seen, 2D, 1D.
Within the context of which they came.
Within the context of when you first saw it, wow, these are amazing visuals.
I have 2... Okay. I have 2. And I think one of them is the same one that you probably have. Mm. But I'll name the other one just because. I think when Mario 64 came out, which was kind of the really big launch into 3D platforming, and they're the ones who instituted the stick, the 3D stick to control a 3D motion character. Everything about that game when it came out, the vibrant colors, the sharpness of the textures, kind of blew me away as a kid. Wow, look at what this is doing. Mm-hmm. I remember people... You look at it now, and it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But at the time, everyone was like, that's the game? And the animation was stunning. So... As contextually, something that kind of blew me away was when I was growing up. At any time, comparatively, Mario 64 was a pretty high one. But the other one is probably the same one you're thinking of, which is a close contender or might be the winner.
I mentioned to you, we discussed this only very briefly before going into this series, and I mentioned that, for example, I've been a Madden gamer my whole life up until Madden 10. I stopped playing. No, Madden 11. And for me, the biggest jump was from Madden 99 to Madden 2000. And this isn't one of the ones on my list, but just as an example, you went from polygonal arms that were really just spears attached to your shoulder to actually having definition on your shoulders and biceps and having hands that could hold the ball. So those kind of things, when it came out, I was like, this is what a sports game is supposed to look like. It looks like an actual person carrying the ball. For me, first and foremost, best visuals, the first Crysis game. And I want to just say Crysis, but I want to make sure that people know I don't mean Crysis 2.
Yes.
Crysis. At the time it came out, I did not have a good enough system to run it on the really high settings. Even my system now struggles to run it on the really high settings, and I have a pretty good rig. I came over to watch you play it. And after you get through kind of the intro area, you get to the top of the ridge, and you look out over the bay, and the sun is setting over the beach. Those visuals knocked me on my ass. I had never seen something so gorgeous, so beautifully rendered. There wasn't screen tearing at all. There wasn't choppiness. Pixels weren't loading. The background wasn't loading in incrementally. It just, you came into a completely photorealistic, beautifully drawn scene. And it just blew me away. And I've never encountered visuals that have left me feeling that way. I mean, I was staring open-mouthed at the screen watching you play it.
Yeah. It is...
That was
compared,
2007?
Yeah, and they still hold up.
Yeah, they still look better than a lot of games.
Yeah, it's insane. And then, right now, I just have to mention, people go, well, it's on console now. No, not like it is on PC. I'm sorry, but when you see them side by side, I mean, it still looks good on Xbox, but not, oh, man. Especially on roused hours, like huge, giant screen.
36-inch monitor.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it on a 1600p monitor, but I imagine it's just wonderful. We've only seen it on 1080.
I'm sure it's just like looking into a window you can just reach into.
Yeah, exactly. So that game, above, far and beyond, that's the best visuals I've ever seen. A close second in terms, because that's mostly landscape and textures. In terms of kind of best looking visual animations, I have to say that Red Faction Guerrilla, to be sure, because I had just beefed up my system when that game came out, and I was able to run it. Thank God for quad-core processors to be able to calculate all of those freaking calculations.
Physics.
Yeah, but when you strap a bunch of C4 to the base of a tower and blow it up sequentially and to watch it fall into debris, it's breathtaking. And I invited you over to watch me play. And it was kind of similar to how I felt watching you play Crysis. It was just, oh my god, oh my god!
It was just one thing after the next. Like, you blew it up one way. What if we blow it up this way?
Yeah, let's go back in and use the hyperbaric thermal rocket launcher.
And even just like, what if we put all the C4 on one side of the building and watch it collapse to the left?
Let's
or the right?
just make a vertical line. Let's, spell a W for Woodsie and C4.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so much fun.
And if you haven't played that game, I don't know how much it is now on Steam. It can't be very much. It is definitely worth it.
Just you'll play for hours just destroying stuff.
Yeah,
you're like, there's a game in here. What? Why?
My one gripe against that game, among one or two other gripes, is really just they give you timed sessions where you basically, it converts blowing shit up into points and how many points you can get. If they would just give you even a finite ammo, but just give you a huge field of buildings and shit.
Right.
And said, here's your practice facility, go blow shit up.
Yeah.
That would be perfection. But
a free skate mode.
Exactly.
Inside of that game.
But if,
free blow-up mode.
Portal 2 had done the same thing.
I don't know why they're not thinking
Tribes
about that.
lets you practice on all the map, which is just brilliant. But anyway, best visuals, those two stick out for me. There are others we could mention, but best visuals to you, contextually. You may think that XYZ game now, I know it's not Skyrim, Battlefield 3 has amazing visuals, but I wasn't blown away like I was for Crysis.
That
and
leap
for Reflection,
forward.
really. That leap forward that says the future is here.
Right.
Those are the games for me. I think people said Just Cause 2 was like that for them, but I don't know if we're reaching a diminishing returns point. How much more realistic can games look? But those two for me stand out the most. What stand out for you?
So, gentle gamer, please comment. Please thumbs up this video after you've commented.
And subscribe.
And subscribe.
And pass the word on.
Yes, please. My name is Woodsie.
My name is Shepherd. We are the PC Elitists, and we're signing out.